I want to welcome you all to Eventing Talk with Buck and Kyle. There's a new project that we're starting. We're hoping to do a bunch of episodes for you and bring some education, some entertainment, some awkward silences, and this is my co-host Buck.
Wow.
Bring it.
We figure that we're failures in the riding department, but we follow the sport. And maybe we can bring some excitement and some entertainment and not just watching Kyle ride.
Yeah, well, there's certainly a lot of entertainment when you get to watch that. As people have been posting, students of mine posting pictures of me with my elbows up above my head. I really, really appreciate that. Buck, however, doesn't have any bad pictures out there on the internet because he is a very stylish rider, following the model of his father. Actually, no, that's not true. You don't at all, do you?
Well, luckily, my elbows can't move because the shoulders got too many plates in them. So that won't be happening for me. But
well, we need
I should last for a while because I'm pretty much full of metal.
We need to do something with your knees then to keep your leg down underneath you.
Well, they've already had a few surgeries as well. So I'll tell the doctor next time to put a better set of metal in there.
Plates in there. Well, we were hoping to, basically, we're wrapping up the year, and Buck and I were talking. We thought it'd be kind of interesting to try and do a camera video where we talk about the year that we've had and where it goes from here. And part of the thing that I found interesting this year was the annual meeting was last week. Buck was the high point rider again in the country for, I think, the fourth time. He can't go much beyond that because he can't count over top of his fingers, so he might go 5 and then be done. And at the annual meeting, they had quite a ruckus up there as usual, lots of fun. I didn't go because I find that if I want to spend a vacation, I'm not going to go hang out with horse people. But Buck as well didn't show up, and I thought that was sort of an interesting thing. So what was with that, man?
Well, I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm recently married and I have a kid on the way, and so we have, of course, in typical Buck fashion, didn't really think everything all the way through, and bought a house that in a community that you're not allowed to have kids. So we need to buy another house. So we've been working away at finding houses, and we found a house now. So if anybody's looking for a place to rent in Ocala, I am your man. But we're excited about having the kid and trying to learn as much as I can about being a father, and trying to be first a good husband and then hopefully a good father. But that's the reason that we missed out on the annual meeting this year.
All right, I thought it was you were trying to make some sort of point, but apparently not. It would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, well, I'm working on my golf game too. I mean, that's just kind of between us, though. Keep that down.
Well, I missed the Canadian high performance year-end award as well.
Did you win that?
No, but they don't actually have any of that. So, but my country isn't quite as sophisticated as the United States yet.
Yeah, we are kind of important.
We're new to the sport.
Yeah, there you go. And it's cold all the time.
Exactly. We do a lot of hockey though.
Yeah, I used to play hockey. I wasn't good at that either, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't think you quite have the build for it.
Oh, come on. I mean, you can be short and square. It's all good.
Anyways, Bucks, why don't you tell me about your year? Tell me about the year that you had and, ending up again winning the high point for the third time in a row, I believe.
Yeah, I can't really remember. That's pretty scary. But no, it was a good year. It started off very well. Horses were going great. I was riding well. I thought everything was on the way it should have been, and ended up the spring season winning the 3-star with Reggie, which was really exciting. And all the stuff that he's won, he's never actually won a CCI, so that was a big deal. Last year he took over as the all-time leading horse, so that was kind of a cool thing. Had some good trips to Europe this fall. Rode some really, really nice horses. My string is definitely getting better. I have the best owners, the best support people in the country for sure, if not the world. And the beginning of the year was great. I had a crashing fall at Richland Park that beat me up pretty bad, and I think the end of the year didn't quite go as I had hoped. And but thankfully, all the horses are in good shape. Everybody's sound, ready to go for the spring, and they're a year older, and so am I, and hopefully a year wiser, and looking for bigger and better things next year.
obviously not that wise since you still are planning on going forward for next year.
Or I'm here with you.
This is that's the highlight of your year. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So you actually brought up a good point with Richland Park, because I use you as an example for my students quite a bit. That and as they know, because I say, don't do what Buck does. Please don't do what Buck does. Quit riding like Buck, I say, and they listen because you have to try really hard to ride like Buck. But yeah, Richland, you fell, you broke ribs, right? You broke ribs, collarbone, shoulder, ribs, and that was early in the day, and then you had to ride. How many horses after that?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? You probably broke
I broke the ribs and the shoulder on the Saturday, and so I had to show jump 2 horses after that. But then I had to ride 7 and 3-star in the cross country the next day, and it was as always the first thing you got to care about is your horse, and I knew that I could go out and do it the day after, and with the adrenaline and stuff like that. I knew that I would be safe, and that I would, be able to safely negotiate the course and look after my horses. And so when I knew I could do that, then it was just suck it up and get it done. And I also knew that I was going to be taking a bit of time off after that, and I figured it would make it easier to take the time off if I had gotten that event done. And I didn't go crazy fast with anybody, but I had some horses that I thought were ready to go, but the big thing was that I was physically able to put my horses in the position to succeed. Obviously, Reggie ended up winning the competition, and he was my last ride. And so, it was tough the next few days. Driving home that night, my poor wife, I think if she could have thrown me out the door and run me over in the camper, she would have, because I was whining pretty good. But that was a bummer of a thing. It was a really nice horse having a great ride, and things happen. It's just one of those things. And thankfully, that horse is fine, and so am I. So I broke a few ribs. Life goes on.
The interesting thing with that is that the sport itself is looked at from people that aren't involved in horses as a very bit wimpy, I'd say. I know when I was in high school, exactly, I wouldn't have gone on and done that. When I was in high school, I used to play football, and I quit the football team to focus more on the riding because I found it difficult to find the time to do both things. And when I did that, as you can imagine, the football team was really impressed with me, and I got a lot of stick for it. But this, in our sport, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of time that you actually have to really overcome physical things as well as on the horse, the rider, the time that you're putting in. You put in all that effort to get there. You don't want to miss out on that competition. And even though it seems like you probably did how many competitions last year? Like 40, I'd guess, events, maybe 35.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 16 planned for our schedule in the beginning of the year next year. You put all that effort in to get them ready. You don't want to have to sit on the side waiting for the next competition. You want to get it done then, and then continue on. But I don't think a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't have done what you did, and a lot of people would have. I think out there wouldn't appreciate what you had to go through to do that.
Well, I think, as I always say, if I was any smarter, I'd be doing something different. But I really think the horses are professional athletes as well, and they knew they were there to compete. It wasn't their fault that I had a fall, and they were fit and ready, and they had been primed and ready to go to that event. And I thought that it was in their best interest, and that they would enjoy going out there. The ground was good, everything was good, and these things happen. And as I say, if you think what happened to me is a big deal, you turn on CNN and you realize that a few broken ribs is not a big deal, and we're in a beautiful place, and we're lucky to ride these horses, and there are way worse things going on in the world. And as long as I could make sure the horses were going to be safe, then the rest was whatever happened to happen.
Right. So what about going forward? For next year, the Olympics are on. You've obviously got some horses aiming for it. I've got some horses aiming for it. What are your plans? Where are you right now?
Well, right now I'm sitting here next to you.
I noticed that.
Talking about something that may or may not happen. But I've got some really good horses. My plans are to not fall off as much as I did last year, and Reggie's back. He had a wind surgery, another one after plantation that actually he's called a tie forward. That, as everybody knows about Reggie, he's had a few wind surgeries, but this one, not only is he not going to be able to flip his palate anymore, it actually has a secondary thing, which with his wind surgery, he aspirates a lot of food and water, and actually now that doesn't happen as much. And so Reggie has been enjoying his vacation. He's as big as he's been in a long time. He's quite fat, and so he's ready to come back. And I've got some nice horses in Park Trader, Petite Flower will be back for the spring. The Apprentice, Quasar. There's a lot of really nice horses coming up that I'm excited about, and we'll see see where each horse decides they want to go, and then that's where we go. I don't really make big plans as far as they have to go here, they have to do that. Let the horse tell me what they want to do, and fortunately I have great owners that are sort of behind that, and understand that I'm with them every day, and we discuss what's best for the horses and what's best for the owners, and then we go. And the big thing is just keeping everybody sound and keep improving, and hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah, well, and it seems like America's on a real upswing at the moment, I would say. I mean, obviously I live here, so I've watched the programs as they've come through for the years, and there's, the States is always fighting for those team medals, and they're usually close and in the hunt, but it does seem like there's a lot of young horses being brought on that are incredibly fancy and looking like they're going to be real special. I mean, you've got quite a few. And it seems like there's a lot of really good 2-star and 3-star horses that have been developing for the last 3 or 4 years, and maybe they won't be ready for the Olympics, but when I watch a lot of those ones go, I think they can easily hold their own against any other horse in the world, and good riders on top of them. It's kind of nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm not somebody that talks in hypothetical. I sort of talk in facts, and this is the way it is. And the thing that's unique about our sport is, sometimes a horse that is going great at the 2-star level doesn't actually make it to the top. And somebody that's not really any good at the 2-star level all of a sudden becomes a top horse. And so, you have to have the right horses with the right riders at the right time. And, our job as a country is don't get caught up in the potential of it, but the reality of where we are. And I think Dennis Green said when he's the coach of the Vikings, he says, "You are what your record says you are." And so we are what our record says we are. And of course, there's exciting things in the future and all that kind of stuff, but we need to not get caught up in what might happen, but let's concentrate on where we are, and where we want to go. And that's, I kind of live my life by that. And again, my poor wife puts up with a lot when I don't win on a weekend. It's not really that much fun. I'm not that much fun to hang out with. I'm not that much fun to do anything with.
You're not that much fun anyways.
Yeah, that's probably true. But I think we do have to, not get excited about thinking what we might be, but let's just do it.
Right.
And, but it's exciting. It's exciting times, and for me personally, it's there's lots of stuff going on in my life that's outside of the horses, and just like you with what we're doing here, which is obviously going to be popular.
No.
With
How couldn't it be?
With my looks and your height, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, what about? I mean, who could not watch this?
He cut my head off, put it on top, or his head off, put it on top of my body. We might have to do that in one episode.
Good idea. Make you look better.
That's not possible. The interesting thing is, you said earlier about that you've got a baby on the way, and obviously I'm a father with 2 young girls, and a lot of people in our sport and in life, they talk about how they had children, and I always thought that it would be a limiting factor to have kids. When I was younger, I had it in my head that there was no way you could have children and achieve these goals, because so many people talk about how they had kids, otherwise they would have made something. And I have to say, for me, and I think you're going to find it the same way, for me, it was the best thing, because it leveled me. It made me realize that there was a value in what I was doing in my profession, but that there was so much more to life than that. And I had probably was my most successful time was right after we had our first daughter. And the reason is because during that time, I realized that everything I did in horses really was, I mean, it's important, but it wasn't the most important thing in the world. And so it took a lot of the stress off of trying so hard that I actually was almost getting in my own way. And so for me, it was a better thing for my competition career. And it's certainly, when I look back in my life, expect to look at it and go, oh, yeah, I rode horses, I did things, but my involvement with them is what I remember the most. Even when I went to international games with Riley, went to Hong Kong, went to Rio. I remember playing with her after I rode cross country in Hong Kong and in Rio, and like just having a great time, and realizing while I was doing it in the middle of this field how privileged I was to be able to have my family in that environment, and really incorporating it in there. And I'm going to guess, since your father was such a successful rider, you probably were on the receiving end of some of that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at my dad's career, there's probably not been anybody that's been as successful for as long as he has been. And but I can honestly say that he is as good a dad as you could ever ask for. It was very important that he was home at 5 o'clock for dinner, and we would all sit down dinner and have a family dinner every single night. And he was very conscious of that, and that's something that he wasn't always easy, for sure, but he taught me lots of valuable lessons. And as I always say about whatever sport or whatever you're doing, at the end of the day, you're going to have 1,000 pictures, and that's what you're going to be left with. And the thing that my dad has is me and my sister, and that's what he's really proud of. It's almost sad when you hear people, the only thing they can talk about is some metal, which is a piece of material. And I know my dad, my mom, they're really proud of me and my sister. And as you are to, thankfully Jen's beautiful, and she gave you 2 unbelievably beautiful kids. I have no idea how that happened. She checked the DNA maybe, but
I drugged her.
Yeah. But that's exactly, and one of the things after that fall at Richland, going home, and I was moaning, groaning about how sore I was, my wife says, but there's different things now. There's more to this than just you trying to go and ride an event or whatever. And she's maybe a little bit upset with me. Maybe not as much as the people that were killing me on the websites because of all the money I was making because I rode these horses. But it's true. It is. I do have. Even now already with Andre being pregnant, I do. If I usually get to the barn and I'm on my first horse at 8, if she was sick or she needed something, I went and took care of that. And it's been a bit of an adjustment for the people in the barn. It's but I got great guys in the barn that've been with me for a long time, and they're all successful and they can run the ship. I'm really looking forward to our little daughter, hopefully coming on in the beginning of March, and seeing what that brings.
And I think it's interesting you said that your parents are really proud of you, which shows. I mean, I know my parents are really proud of what I've done, and it just goes to show parents are delusional about actually where their kids' successes are, because my parents have no reason to be proud about me, but apparently they are. They tell people that.
Well, I'm sure it's probably the same with your parents. My parents are most proud of me because somehow I was able to wrangle in Andrea. And I'm sure your parents are proud of you for getting Jen, and probably thinking, man, we must be missing something. How are these girls that stupid? Because they have absolutely nothing to offer. But I think in my situation, having my parents, my mom rode at the advanced level. She rode at badminton, and so they lived this life. But what is really important to them is the kids and the family, and that's what we talk about. Is and a lot of times the horses were involved in that, and I've been fortunate to go all over the world because of horses, and I'm now able to do that. And actually, that's something that's great for my owners, is they enjoy going to some of these events all around the world that didn't matter how much money you had. If you didn't have a horse in that event, you couldn't go into that palace. You couldn't meet this person. And that's those things that I've grown up with, sort of part of my life, and now I can sort of show that to, you know, my owners, but then again to my daughter, hopefully.
Yeah.
And very excited about that.
It is funny how it opens doors that everybody has these dreams of going to the Olympics, riding at Rolex and that sort of thing, but what it really does is it almost elevates you outside of what your normal life could be. I mean, when I met Jen, I was living in a mobile home that the floor was separated from the wall, and when it would snow, there would be a drift in the corner of the mobile home because it was just that bad. And when I met her and we finally sort of figured out what we were doing, she moved into the mobile home, and about 10 years later, I was driving along and I was thinking about what a state I'd been in at that point, and I called her and I was like, what was wrong with you? Like, what would lead you to believe that someone living in that situation would actually go somewhere that you'd want to be involved in that? And, but from that, you know, I've gone all over the world as well. Like you said, you can't buy your way into the situations, and I didn't come into it with the money to do those things. But the opportunity arose that I was able to go into a palace and meet people that, you know, people think are really important, and realize that they're just, you know, they're normal people as well. But the cool thing was that I was elevated to that just due to the horses, you know, and that's and then hopefully again, my children will get to appreciate it. I mean, I don't know. How long have we known each other?
I have no idea. Again, probably a few too many calls.
See, I remember that one because I was at your farm in 1986 getting ready for Radnor. And so you would have been, I think, 10. And you were running away. I didn't know who you were, and I didn't really
running
care.
Away from home? Or
running away from home. No, I was much nicer back then.
Yeah.
And I remember at Chesterland, I was riding in the ring, and you were with your backpack going off across the field over the hills. And I remember later talking to you about it, and you were like, yeah, no, or maybe it was your dad, and whoever it was like, yeah, no, that happens at least like, you know, twice a month. He just decides he's running away, he can't take it, and he's going. It was pretty damn funny.
That's
though.
interesting. I didn't know I did that, but that's anyway. That's where my adventure side comes in.
Yeah, well, it's probably the falls in your head that's taking that out.
Yeah, maybe. I think I got left out a few times in the snow.
So the Olympics next year, and then beyond that, what are you thinking? Like, you gonna do the same thing your dad did and ride it till I mean, your dad amazes me.
No. I'm really going to focus on my golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite like that. And no, I mean, you know, my dad's, you know, he loves it. He just loves horses, just loves riding, and as I do too. But I really, you know, I don't know how long I'll do this. I mean, it is my job. It's the way I make my living, and so you know, unless this show hits big, I'm probably not going to be rich. But maybe if we can put your face up on it. Yeah.
We can save Buck from his future.
There you go. And if I'm relying on Kyle, I'm not looking good. But it's, you know, I do have things that I want to do that are, you know, I'm very, like I enjoy doing business stuff. And but what I get out of this is, you know, I like riding horses, but I really enjoy the people part of it. Like I really enjoy the people I meet on the road, and the people that are, you know, I really enjoy people that are on my team and getting to know them. I've got some fascinating owners. I've got some fascinating people that work for me that have come from all different walks of life, all different countries, all different jobs, all kinds of different things. And so there's lots of different routes that, you know, who knows where I'll go. And probably when I'm 65, I'll be still sitting on the back of a horse getting ready for a rocking horse. That's the real life of it.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, and I think that's as you progress down the road, you said it so eloquently earlier, making, you know, tons of money at Richland, riding those horses with broken ribs, because it's all about the money. And that's the thing, is this sport is so, right now I've got 3 horses that I'm aiming for the Olympics next year, and we have a partial syndicate on one of them. The other two we own outright. And you don't make any, I don't make any money doing those horses. I do them because I really enjoy the sport itself and the riding and the training. And that's just one more chance to sort of test the skills. But there does come a point where you have to look at it from the end of saying, how much longer do we pursue this? Because I've got, what I always look at it in cycles of 4 years. So the next year is the Olympics, then it's 2 years to the World Championships, and knowing whether at that point I would like to continue riding those horses and training them and competing in that environment, or whether the smart thing to do, which it probably is a smart thing to do, is just to sell them and step into a different sphere of bringing on horses and just retailing them out, which we do sell horses, but it's been a hard decision for me in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Multiple times I've come to that thought process of, maybe you should just take it down a notch, and because basically I'm spending my kids' inheritance.
Well, I think for me it's certainly different in that I don't love selling horses, but what I do, I really enjoy getting to know the people, and I enjoyed as a kid playing sports, and I loved the camaraderie you had with a team, and that's what I've tried to do in my barn, is make it a team, and everybody has to do their job. They don't have to do anybody else's job, but they have to do their job, and I really enjoy putting a team of people together and a group of people, and whether it's the lowest guy mucking the stall to the most, the owner that has a lot of horses, that they all can sit around the table and everybody have a good time, and we're all working towards the same goal. And so that part for me is the sort of driving force behind it. And so it's a business. Obviously I'm fortunate to have the people behind me that enjoy it. For me, it's teaching the riding lessons and stuff like that, which again, for me, is the people side of it. It's going back to my dad. He loves the horse side of it, and I really enjoy the people side of it. I enjoy taking people on journeys and, talking to them, communicating with them, and having them, get their competitive fill through me. Mm-hmm. And, I've been very lucky. I have some great people that have, just been like second family to me, so basically for me, it's going to come down to how long do they want to do it, and are they enjoying the journey, and that may be my answer.
Well, sort of is interesting, because with your repugnant personality, I'm sort of surprised that anybody wants to spend any time with you.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Didn't go on to college yet either.
Yeah, I didn't break that.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that do you have any plans for Christmas? Is there something you just?
Yeah, we're getting ready for Christmas. We're first going to close on the house, so might be a little late getting a Christmas present this year. And just see how much money's in the bank. Which luckily we have mortgages. But we're going to go up to Andrea's family up in South Carolina, and I think I usually get there about 11 o'clock in the evening on the 24th, and I'm usually out of there by sort of 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the 25th. So I was there for 2 days.
It's very relaxing.
And it's one thing I'm not great at is relaxing, as probably most people know. But we're excited. My family and Andrea's family are all gonna meet in Rock Hill at Andrea's family's place where we got married, and have a good Christmas, and get ready for the new year.
Excellent. And then it'll be Rocking Horse again, Ocala.
Rocking Horse, Ocala. The winter or the eventing showcase in Wellington is exciting. That's exciting for the sport, and I'm looking forward to taking a couple of horses down there. And it's I think we have be careful of appreciating how lucky we are to drive down down Route 40 to have a place like Rocking Horse that we can go to. And sometimes, I certainly have to catch myself and thinking, oh man, we got to do another event. And we're so lucky to be able to do that event and do any events. And, we all wake up at, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we get home and go to bed at midnight, and we do it all again the next day. But as he says, it's, when people come to my place, I said, you guys have to understand, none of us are getting rich doing this. So we got to have a good time, and we're going to have a better time if we win. The way we're going to win is we got to work harder, and so if we all work hard, we're going to have a good time. And then, it's quality of life rather than the amount of money. But we are certainly fortunate to be able to do what we do, and have friends like yourself, and actually I should say friend, because I don't think there's anybody else out there. But
I thought you had one other one.
Yeah, maybe, but I can't remember who they are either. It's exciting times. And what about you? What are you guys doing for Christmas?
We are staying here. We've been building building up on the farm, and so sort of the same thing. Our gifts are going to be involved in what we've actually done for each other on the farm and for the kids, and then trying to get home to Calgary to visit my family. We try to go there for New Year's and go skiing and stuff, but I'm having a little bit of a passport issue at the moment. If anybody out there can help me with that, that'd be great.
You on the watch list?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But I can go buy guns still.
Oh, there you go.
We're gonna have to edit that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my father's been kind of sick recently, so I've been trying to get back up there, but I've had a lot of trouble with getting out of the country. So, and then on to the year, and I think you hit it right on the head. Is it's sometimes hard to remember how much. Like we go to an event with people, and I've got kids that we always have a fresh group coming in, and they'll be like all excited about the event we're at, and I'm like, wow, we're excited about being here. And sometimes it's hard to remember what it was like to want 3 horses at that event or 1 horse at that event and just hit every single event you could go to. And it's a little bit like eating ice cream 3 times a day. I like ice cream, but after a little bit, I kind of would like a break. And
for sure, if you do anything enough, you call it a job, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I have to be careful with my, when I'm becoming this professional golfer.
Yeah.
That I maybe won't enjoy it as much if I'm playing golf. Because if I was doing it, I'm probably not the kind of person to play 18 holes. I got to play 80 holes in a day.
Right.
And so I don't know by day 4 if I'm really going to enjoy it anymore, So, I might stick with this for a while.
Luckily, we won't have to worry about that, I'm sure.
No, probably not.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up, and hopefully we can have you guys watching a few other episodes. Like I said, the whole idea is we're going to have some educational stuff. We're going to have some lessons. I'm building another water jump at my farm right now because every farm needs 2 water jumps. So I'm going to do a little clip on that as we're building it, and we'll put it in association with this so that then you can follow that. So if you have a silly idea that you want to build a water jump or a pond, you can kind of follow the mistakes that we've made and hopefully avoid them. And with that water jump, we're creating a conditioning system for the horses in it, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out when the theories come to practice, basically. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed it. Eventing Talk with Buck and Kyle.
See you guys. Ocalabread.com.
We're coming to you from the studios at ocalabread.com in Ocala, Florida, and we appreciate them letting us use their studio to record this show for you, and hopefully it brings in lots of interest, and we can then add more people to help us out to bring you this great show.